Let's have a quick look, make sure everything's up and running. It does appear to be that is the case. It does indeed appear to be the case. Back better. horse had died. Perfect. Go fly over the road. our turning point. Now. That's a bit better, isn't it? Right mic level now. Just get me my map of the area. That's about right. Okay, definitely wasn't it. You'd been in a different place. Let's cheat a little bit. Yeah, I like cheating. coming into, this is a town called Kamana, apparently. Let's have a look. Phone notification. Ooh. That was 100% going to be a ground loop. Okie dokie. Let's give that a go. going to be moving through one of the world's largest valleys. Can't wait for that to improve as well. It's going to be good. Yay, it does work. I'm enjoying the aerodynamics down here. Let's go right over this edge. See what happens. And then no input. Not as brutal that time. Let's try flying on the other side, see what happens. Oh. Not really a huge amount for that one. Oh, very cool. It's like an abandoned town. Cheers, all. Not doing anything special today. I'm testing a few settings, and I'm scouting out a route for another bus trip. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're focused on the road most of the time, I suppose. Obviously I don't condone keeping 100% of your attention on the road. Really nice bits of scenery around here as well. There's very little other than the valley, but it looks incredible. The texturing isn't completely ruined here because of the satellite data being sort of stretched across the 3D model, so it still looks mostly realistic. I'm going to have to start scouting using a jet or something, make it a little bit faster. Oh no, the Saturday trip's going to be in Canada. I'm currently in Peru, in South America. This is going to be, if we do this, it's going to be for a distant future, because I believe we've got at least the next 3 sorted. We've got BC, Canada. We have I think we have a flight in Delaware, or the Delaware Gap, or something like that. I can't remember the exact details. And I believe we have a flight. There's going to be at least 2 more British Columbia trips, because, well, the place is massive, and you can't just all do it in one trip. It'd take you, 2 weeks of solid flying, and so WAFA's going to sort out part 2 and part 3, but they're going to be spaced. They're not going to be like every week. Then we're planning a 2-mission, like a 2-flight day trip, where we're going to fly from somewhere in the US, and I think it's going to be 2 3-hour legs to fly to Oshkosh in Wisconsin, for the Oshkosh fly-in, the virtual fly-in thing that they're doing, but that's a way off yet. We've got I believe we've got a trip planned for the French Alps, by one of our guys is doing that, but he hasn't yet given us the details. We've got a rough idea of where it's going to be. We've got a whole bunch of people looking at South America at the moment, including me, because the place is massive again. There's a massive mountain range that goes right the length of it, the Andes. So there's lots of places. Like, the sort of further you go south, the more I think it's called the dry Andes. So there's no vegetation at all, and it's kind of a little bit boring. There's not much in the way of challenging small airstrips to land at. It's the same with this place, to be honest. It's like a 55-mile flight before you can even get into the entrance to this, like the estuary to this river, and then up through the valley I'm going now. This is only the small section. There's a right turn about 20-ish miles that leads into the, I think it's in the top 5 deepest canyons in the world. It's something like 3,500 meters. So that's what I came to see. Just to see whether it was viable for another trip. I hope so, because I love the idea of having the dry hills next to it. If you look on the screen now, there's that sort of deserty, and then the beautifully manicured, the sort of arable farming that's going on. Everything's green below in the valley next to the river, and then everything sort of dries out. And I like the contrast between the two. That's why I picked it. Like, the best place to go and look for trips is Google Maps. Just scan around, look at a mountain range, and then just sort of start scrolling through, and you can see the difference in. And it normally makes for something interesting because Flight Sim uses just satellite data. It's really a shame though that Bing isn't quite as good as Google Maps, in my opinion. From quite a lot that I've seen anyway. There's some parts of it that are better, but not many. But then you get to places like this where it flattens out a little bit, and it's still cool, but it's not quite as interesting. Like Mike, the flight we did through New Zealand on Saturday, Mike spent quite a long time figuring that out, and I think that's part of the deal. Yeah, it's just not as good. The satellite data is satellite data. Kind of is the same, but Google, their photogrammetry, where they do the elevations and the buildings and the streets are at the correct level and the actual buildings are mapped and 3D generated, their photogrammetry data seems to be a lot better. There's a lot of people that are importing huge chunks of Google Maps into Flight Sim to improve it for like their hometown or whatever. I'm waiting. They've pushed back the photogrammetry and map update for the UK until the 2nd of February now, so I'm waiting for that. And then once they've done that, I'm going to organise a UK trip. There's not much in the way of bush flying because the place is so damn small compared to British Columbia or anywhere in the US or even South America. It's just the UK is such a tiny place. I can see the mountains in front of us now down this valley. They're starting to get quite big. Just out of curiosity, I can't tell whether you I'm not getting a chance to test much. Is the volume level of my voice correct for the background level of the game, or does it need me tweaking? Do you think it's okay? It'd be helpful. I've started streaming to YouTube as well, so it records it and I can go back and check. But I'm still trying to tweak the settings a little bit. Could be a little more on voice. I'm going to move the mic a little bit. Sorry if that makes a horrible noise. Let's try that and then that. Okay, there we go. I'll try a little more like that and then. I kind of tend to speak a little bit quietly sometimes as well, without having the microphone right in front of my face. I can't, because if you can see the sort of the light that I've got in front that helps the camera kind of shadows onto my face. If I have it any closer, Plus with the HOTAS keyboard and mouse down here, I can't mount the microphone down here and have it under me because it would just get in the way there. Oh man, there's nothing wrong with a cheeky McDonald's every now and again. Like I don't. Oh, wonderful, that's good. I don't particularly eat a lot of McDonald's, but every now and again it's just the right thing to do, isn't it? Same with KFC. Every now and again it's just right. I prefer the chicken though after having one or two drinks. Strictly one or two drinks though. Never ever have I drank any more than one or two. I feel bad about lying like that. Lying on the internet. Oh no, how could you? Okay, this scenery is fantastic, but yeah, I'll have to grab a couple more people and do a little flight of this, maybe a midweek one rather than a weekend one. I have to remember what airport I took off from. Where's the VFL now? Yeah, I am going the right way. Oh, I really need to sort out a trim wheel. This is getting... The scenery looks great here. Hopefully it's all worth it going into this canyon. Yeah, I know. There isn't, I mean, there's a few, there's a lot of spots like the little mountain ridges and, but there's the best part of this scenery is just the contrast between the green valley floor and then just as you go up the mountains. I think that looks fantastic. It just needs to be, there needs to be a couple of little spots to land, doesn't there, really? I mean, you could tackle any one of these little river sandbars, but let's have a look. The river's kind of, the way it's been drawn by the AI is not particularly accurate, so you can't really see it until you get kind of close by. If I fly down there, we'll have a look. Let's see how this river's been drawn. It's really dodgy in some spots, and it looks brilliant in others. So. There you can see it on the just on the right wing there. The line in the ground where it's been drawn, sort of incorrect. That kind of goes up a hill, which is sort of standard Microsoft Flight Simulator at the moment. I'm kind of hoping they spent on tearing the scenery. But yeah, there isn't a huge amount of places to sort of set down that would be interesting, but the scenery's amazing. Oh, look at that. Just love the way it turns into wonderful farmland like that. Yeah, please don't crash. I'll be guilty of that anyway. So. I'm really looking forward to going to the flying into this canyon. It should open up a little bit here, and then there's I've got to overlay the VFR map onto OBS, but with the isoline map you can see the relief, the terrain relief. It looks really cool, and you can see how steep and sort of narrow it starts to get, and that's the bit I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, I agree. I haven't crashed a car ever. I crashed a car on a racetrack once. That wasn't a lot of fun. And me and my friend a bunch of years ago bought a couple of, let's call them shitters, because they were really horrendous vehicles. I think mine cost 100 quid and his cost I think he bought it for £60, an old Volvo, and I bought an old Euro box called the Vauxhall Astra, or Opel, depending on where you are in the world. And I drove it for about 6 weeks and just like I stole the thing, just abused it, and it just never broke. And then we were at this old industrial estate, and we were just going to get rid of the cars anyway, scrap them, because they were both a pile of shit. And we just started ramming each other with them. Not in a dangerous way, just 15, 20 mile an hour.
How about now? You hear me?
Hello, sir. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
you come on.
Nice. I'm trying to stuff my face, man.
Yeah, trying to eat, and I'll have to put my mic down for that then, because my Discord might go through a different input. Or the clouds are coming in now, or rather, I'm going into the clouds.
I'm trying to get it to play the video in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on my phone. No.
Got you.
Still there?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Yep.
Cool. You'll start it back up.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun in those cars. We crashed them deliberately a few times. I think we abandoned them there as well. Like I ripped the. I think I reversed into him in the Volvo and burst the radiator on it. And one of my friends was up there filming us doing it, and I think we just left the cars there. I think I went back a couple of weeks later. I was going to go pick it up and do something else with it. And someone had broken into it and stolen what was left of the radio, which made no difference to me. But they'd also set off a fire extinguisher, powered a fire extinguisher inside it. So I kind of wrecked it.
Nice.
Well, people won't let anybody have any fun. Okay, the terrain here now is getting a lot more interesting. It looks incredible. So it starts off kind of slow. How long have I actually been streaming for? Let's have a look. Does it even tell me anyway?
I don't know, dude.
I'm not quite sure, Oh, an hour. Oh yeah, I mean, that's kind of normal. If I create if I create some scenery that creates a start point that could be easily downloaded off our Discord or whatever, just a small file just to add a fictional runway. There was a couple of spots right at the start of this valley on the coast that look like they used to be airports, or either they are airports and just haven't been imported automatically by the game. So what I might do is just sort of build onto one of them and create a point for Microsoft to create an airport at. It wouldn't take long. It'd take 10 minutes to do that.
So you're saying that like this valley's got like 3,000-meter cliffs or something somewhere?
Yeah, it's one of the largest valleys in the world, and I'm damned if I can remember what it was called. But I basically Googled largest canyons, and it's an absolute monster. This one's about 65, 70 miles long, I think, and it's one of the deepest. Got one of the deepest gorges overall, like 3,500 meters, I think. I can't remember the exact stats off the top of my head.
Do you know it'd be crazy? You could like go off of Google's information and like create a world or some sort of way where you could like have no water, like drain the ocean. You go fly to the bottom of the Marianas Trench or something. That'd be super cool.
That would be interesting, actually. Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, that would be pretty cool. Like Mauna Kea, Hawaii, flying around.
Yeah.
Like the largest volcano
Yeah.
on the planet.
Fly around that thing and then fly all the way down to the bottom. That'd be cool.
Yeah. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, all the Icelandic volcanoes, all that stuff that's underwater looks incredible. Would look incredible. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. How would you even do that? Oh, the problem is the valley, the sea floor isn't mapped in this game. It's only the land, so they don't have to map 70% of the planet really. And while there is probably mapping data, I wouldn't have thought it would be that accurate. Not accurate enough to import into a game and it to look right, but it might be worth having a look. It'd add a huge amount of data to this game. Okay, we are coming into this. Like, we got wonderful clear skies behind us, and then this building weather. I left it on live weather just to see what it would be like. So what's wrong with that? Wrong trim switch, and wrong trim switch again. Doing. Come on now. Get somewhere now. Okay.
Yeah, whatever you did with the audio, it sounds pretty good now. Earlier, well, obviously now it's only playing Discord, but earlier, which was probably just amplified because I'm driving the car and it's across the speakers in the car, but...
Yeah, it could possibly be that. Like, for Discord, I used my headset microphone. That's the only input it takes, and then for the Twitch stream, I used this microphone because it's better sound quality. But I'm still learning how to, because I've not been doing this long. I'm just still learning how to what position would be the best for microphone. Like every time I speak, I'm looking away from the microphone. I'm looking sort of towards the camera in the chat box.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Maybe I want to move the microphone over there a little bit, but then let's move just a tiny bit. Like if I stick it here, you see, it puts a big shadow on my face every time I move in front of it. So let's try it there. That might work. But if I move over, yeah, that shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I've got like the Bose 700, the noise canceling headset. It's got microphones built into it.
Yeah.
But there's no microphone in front of your face.
Yeah.
That's what I use on my computer all the time.
Yeah.
The microphones are in the earpieces.
My Corsair headset is really good for that. It's the microphone is really good, but it's no good for any kind of broadcast type stuff. the sound quality just isn't good enough for it. We are going to go to the right down here. The textures on here look amazing as well.
It's super cool. You got this little group that does this because I've been, you know, like when I was younger, I took flying lessons, and so like I have some buddies that have flown in small airplanes. My brother-in-law's dad, he had a P210, pressurized 210.
Yeah.
And went up with him a few times. That was a nice little airplane, a little six-passenger airplane with retractable landing gear and pressurized cabin.
Yeah.
So, and I have a buddy that's like in Texas. Like I live in South Carolina, he lives in Texas, and he loves airplanes too. Like he's flown some. So I've been telling him about this. I've been sending him videos, and I was like, "Look, I'm getting this Xbox. So I can do this."
Yeah.
And he's like, he's all about it. He wants to get it because, like we were talking about, I was like, dude, we're always like, we have a group chat that we do, and with a couple of my friends, and it's like whatever we're cooking that weekend, like we're smoking meat, and so we're always sharing that junk. And I was like, dude, we need to like set this thing up and go fly, like do some bush trips together. And that just happened to like stumble across you guys, which is basically exactly what I was trying to do with my friends.
Yeah, I started this up three days after Microsoft Flight Simulator came out because I suddenly realised how good it was to do it in this game. Like you could do it in the old versions of Flight Simulator, and it was fun. But the multiplayer thing was completely broken. It would never work right. It was just such a pain in the ass, and this works so well. Like it's got its problems, don't get me wrong, but they're not nearly as bad as the problems we faced in Flight Sim. Plus, the scenery generation is so much better. I don't understand why people are flying the airliners. Like I get like in this game, it's just this game is so much better down low where you can see this kind of thing.
Right.
And like even going through this valley, it's all 3D generated, but it looks so sort of convincing. We're not even to the
Yeah, did you hear that?
No, sorry.
No, it was a 18-wheeler next to me, and he hit his engine brake next to me. I just figured you would have heard it. It was loud.
No, I didn't hear that. No, I remember doing that.
So I was talking to my wife about this too, like, you know, telling her like how cool it is, and she's like, "Oh, it's a game. It's stupid, you know, whatever."
Do you know what?
And I was like, "But look, you know, like I was like, you know, last year, right before, like, well, I guess it was not last year now. It was 2019, like before everything shut down because of COVID.
Yep.
We were in Italy, and like we were in Rome, and like 8 months before that, we were in, you know, we went to Hawaii twice, and we went to Croatia, and we were all over the place." And I was like, you know, we could go, I can go take an airplane and go fly around all those places that we were at, and the scenery is realistic. And finally she's like, "Oh yeah, that might be kind of cool."
Yeah, I like when when I was first with my partner at the moment, and I told her I love playing flight sim games. I like playing computer games in general. They've always been my relaxation. And she did that a couple of times. She said, "Oh, it's a computer game. That's stupid. Why don't you read a book?" And I just said to her, I said, "This is what I enjoy doing. Why are you taking the piss out of what I enjoy?" And she's never done it since, and she actively encourages me to do it now. Like she can see the enjoyment that I'm getting from it.
If you like reading a book, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't understand why people criticize others for what they enjoy doing. It's like, well, fine, cool. You don't have to do it. I'm not forcing you to do it. I want to do it though. And she's been far more supportive of it actually since then. And she'll come. She actually comes down and sits behind me and reads her book while I'm playing. Okay, the scenery's getting a little bit more challenging there. There might be places to actually set down.
Oh yeah. I hadn't even looked down in a minute. Yeah, my wife's pretty cool though. We just just had our 10th year anniversary.
Oh, nice.
So she's but she's like, you're not gonna turn into one of those gamers. I don't spend a whole lot of time doing it, but she knows that flying is my thing. Like I've loved it since I was a kid. You know?
Yeah, same. Yeah, I can spend hours on
Like
it.
she knows. Like I told her I was getting the new Xbox. She's like, what do you need that for? You didn't play your other one. And I was like, because I'm gonna play Flight Sim.
Flight Sim.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. There is an element of, well, I want to do this, so tough shit.
I mean,
no, I spend time with her. I make sure I spend time with her. Like I have specific times where I say to her, I want to spend time with you. I don't, we try and spend at least, like, even if she's working nights or we can't spend, like, we don't see each other that much during the day. We always make time for each other every day. And we've been together nearly 4 years, and that's fantastic. I love spending time with her. I think she's great.
it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's probably the most healthy relationship I've ever had with somebody. Because she knows what I like to do. I know what she likes to do, and we can quite happily sit in different rooms of the house and do that, as well as spend time together. And like I said, sometimes she'll come, she sits in the chair behind me, and I'm playing like Rainbow Six or some first-person shooter, and she'll just read away behind me, and I'm swearing down the mic at people, like. Okay, this is getting a little bit more savage, the terrain here now, so. Yeah. I've got to concentrate on what I'm doing as well. There we go.
So y'all, on Discord, you've got some airplanes that y'all modified, right?
Well, we've built. There's a couple of guys that have done the liveries for them, and they're freely downloadable. None of our guys have built their own aircraft yet, but I know there are 2 guys that are. So there's a guy making a proper J3 Cub, like an original Cub, and he's literally scratch built, 3D designed that one. And he's been posting screenshots of it in the screenshots section of Discord. That's going to be incredible, because it looks so good. His attention to detail is wonderful. Then you've got, and he's a 3D modeler and texture designer by profession, I believe, from what he was saying. So what he's doing is great. We've got a guy who's doing loads of scenery. I've done a couple of bits of scenery, even though not to a very high level. We've got.
I thought some airplanes on there that had like bigger tires or something.
Oh yeah, they're not ours. We've just posted links to them to make them easier to find, because some of them are buried. So there's another website, Bush League Legends, and the guy on there has done all the modifications for the Cubs. So he's done the big tire Cub, the cargo pod one. He's done the one with skis, and he's currently doing the one with floats. And I think there's a beta test of that somewhere that we got hold of. I don't think it was on his website. I think he's got a Discord for that as well.
Free?
Yeah, they're all free. Yeah. Yeah, that's the good thing about this game. There's a lot of stuff that you have to pay for. Like the aircraft I'm flying right now is a payware aircraft, but it's been done to a really high standard. And then there's a bunch of free ones. We post a lot of our scenery and livery files to a website called flightsim.to, and it's like a big, repository of downloads. There's aircraft, there's skins, there's modifications, and a lot of the aircraft, like the big wheel. There's one of the big wheel Cubs, the Savage Cub or the Savage Carbon, is on there. And so we've been making liveries for that as well. And the guys even contacted the guy in our group who's been making the liveries, saying, listen, can I include them with the next download? So they're going to be a sort of standard thing on the next one of them, I think, which would be kind of nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, our livery
Is,
guy's doing a really good job. He's only just started doing that, and he's done some really good ones.
Are any of those Cubs like with the bigger tires and stuff? I mean, I assume that they're not just for looks, right? It helps you a little bit with the terrain when you're landing and all that.
Yeah, they sit higher, so the nose is higher in the air. There's loads of little benefits of them. The brakes on some of them are a little bit more powerful.
Did any of them have did it all like the engines or whatever?
Yeah, some of them have got more powerful engines. One's a basically someone's. I don't know whether there's a YouTube guy, Mike Patey, and he built that incredible Wilga with the PT6 turboprop in it. Have you heard of that guy?
Seen it? No.
No, there's it. Well, he's built. Well, he recently crashed that. It's this incredible STOL plane with a PT6 turboprop in it. But he's also building another one called Scrappy, and it's based off a Carbon Cub. I think it's a Carbon Cub, and so he's put a huge 8-cylinder Lycoming engine in it, and it's going to be. He's like everything's carbon. Like he's built. He custom makes his own carbon fiber parts. You're going to go and see him. Find them on YouTube. The videos are incredible. And this thing's
They're gonna climb like a fighter jet.
Yeah, precisely. He's built. He's got world record for the fastest single-engine turboprop. And the aircraft was called Turbulence, and that was another aircraft that should not have a turbine in it, but did. And there's a video of him explaining the climb performance of that thing. It's like, 8,000 feet a minute the thing will climb out, or something nuts. And so his STOL plane, he wanted this incredibly powerful bush plane, so that's what he's building. And one of those, I think the Savage Cub, or the Gravel, I think it's called, is based on that aircraft. They've even made a livery to look like it. But that's got like a 4,000 feet per minute climb performance, an incredibly low stall.
Wow.
Stall speed. It's like it will stall out at like I think 28 knots or something. Well, I think it's lower than that actually. So you can get really slow landings.
How's that? Man, I can't imagine the torque on that motor on that little frame.
Yeah. Well, no, you want to see what he's done in real life to beef it up. He's done a lot in real life, like everything, like incredible carbon fiber. He's put an explosive parachute in the ceiling as well, which is a video of him on YouTube testing that. That's incredible to watch as well. So he's got this incredible. Where's the there? I can't remember which button it is. There's a random truck driving down the side of the mountain there. But yeah, just have a look. He's got a whole massive section of videos, but he's also got the footage of him crashing his Wilga. Well, I'm really hoping someone makes a Wilga for this game as well, because I really like those aircraft.
What is it?
It's a little bush plane as well, but it's got this really wacky suspension. Like on the front, on the legs, it's a big high wing tricycle, tail wheel. It was built like an agricultural aircraft, but bush plane for farmers to do stuff with, I think. But it's just an incredible looking aircraft. They did originally come with radial engines, and they haven't made a huge amount. I think in total, they've only built a couple of hundred of them. But this guy, went and put a PT6 turboprop in it, like 4 times the horsepower, and like it just sits there. He puts it on full power, pretty much, and he's just sat there on the ground, and things bouncing around trying to take off, and the suspension squats right down. It loads up, and then he lets go of the brakes, and the thing basically bounces up off the runway in about 6 feet.
Wow.
So that's pretty interesting to see. He crashed that, he ground looped it, and basically snapped the thing in half. And he makes a video about it. He said, like, literally 10 minutes after the event, he sat there, he's still shaking from the adrenaline. And he's like, yeah, I crashed it. It was entirely my fault. I should not have tried to take off. It was a total mistake. But his videos are incredible. Like the guy's obviously a genius as well. But he's got loads of. I think they're building like 3 Cubs, one for his wife, one for his brother, one for him. But him and his brother have been building aircraft for years. Really.
Figure
really
out what these
interesting guy.
people do for a living. Like, how do they make money doing this? 'Cause
He's got a
that
bunch
would
of
be-
patents. He does like oil recovery systems for like oil spills and like environmental control stuff. I think he does a video about it. He shows a little bit of what he's doing, like evaporative cooling, and he owns a whole bunch of little patents that have obviously earned him quite a bit of money. He's got a little executive jet. He's got a couple of aircraft. He's owned a couple of really cool aircraft. So, yeah, he's like super high energy as well, and I think that's what that sort of draws people to him. He seems like I'd love to sit and have a beer with the guy, just chat. Just chat about his aircraft. Just chat about the thoughts going through his head when he comes up with the design. I love that kind of thing.
He out of?
Say that again.
Where is he out? Like, where does he live?
Oh, somewhere near. I've got his. We did use his home field as one of our bush plane starting points. I think it's called High Sierra. No, not High Sierra. It's Sierra Field. I think it's in Nevada. I want to say Nevada, but don't quote me on that. Do you know what?
You should get a hold of him and get him to come on one of the trips.
Yeah, that would be very cool. I think. I'm not sure whether. There's a whole bunch of people that do that though. So there's a whole bunch of YouTubers that do this sort of bush flying. I think Mike Patey is my favourite because he's mostly doing the building on his channel, and he does a few videos. There's a guy called Trent something who he runs a Kit Fox. Trent Palmer. I like his videos, but he wouldn't be my favourite guy. He's a guy I'd like to sit and have a beer with. Like it's the guys that some of the guys that show up when they're bush flying that I'd like to meet more. Like the guy who put a V8 in a Cessna, and the guy who put I think there's a guy with a Mazda rotary engine in one. Apparently that's a popular conversion in a little Cub or a Kit Fox or something. I'd like to build my own aircraft. I really would, but you can't really go bush flying in the UK. There's too many rules. You'd never be able to build your own aircraft, really, and fly it.
You could do it here. You just couldn't have any passengers with you.
Yeah.
Be like put experimental on the door and mark it. Like you could do it with a what they call them, a recreational license.
Yeah.
But you couldn't have like it has to be like a certain size, and I forget all the.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rules. I'm pretty sure you can do it in the UK. You can build your own aircraft. Just there's so many hoops to jump through. I wouldn't have said it was worth it. Like there's no real bush flying to be spoken of here. I mean, the rules still apply. You can land in places if you want, but there's so many international airports, and you're not allowed anywhere near their airspace that it doesn't leave many options, if you know what I mean. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, I just pulled up to my office. I'm gonna go inside.
Yeah.
And sit down and turn Twitch on my computer.
Well, I'm actually going to jump off for a little while. I'm going to come back later though. You might finish work.
That's cool. If I see
you a
you
little bit later.
That's cool. If I see you, I see you.
Yeah, no worries, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you have a good day, man. See you later. weather sounds a bit drastic up there. Yeah, and more throttle. Okay, I am going to jump off this and try something else. Thanks very much.